Hey, greetings good people and welcome to another episode of MOSHBITS. I wanted to start this episode with one simple question. Did any of you get their hands on the new RTX 3070 cards? I was actually intending to record this video yesterday, but things got into the way, so there you go, it's coming out today. If you did manage to get your hands on one of those, then please sound off in the comments below because I'd definitely be curious to hear about your experience. Here in Germany, the Founders Edition cards actually sold only through Notebooks Billiger, which didn't work out for me, and by that I mean I did not get my hands on one of them. Maybe next time, or maybe I should wait for AMD. And if you are one of those people that are waiting, then don't forget that I have a video talking about whether you should get an order out for those cards as soon as they become available. And without further ado, I guess now it's also time to start this episode. In the meantime, and by that I mean that during the RTX 3070 launch, as I was writing the script, Intel decided to silently launch their 11th gen Rocket Lake CPUs with XZ graphics. And the best things I can say about it are actually these ones from this tweet from Linus Tech Tips. So 14 nanometers, 8 core max, PCIe Gen 4, 20 PCIe lanes, and welcome to 2019, Intel. But you know what? At least their XZ GPUs are a bit better than their integrated GPUs. Nah, actually Nvidia's MX330 is also there to beat it, so Intel's not really living in the present right now. And I guess they should probably be more selective with the things that they actually put their resources into, and also who they have in their management positions. Speaking of which, Sony will be more selective with its buyout offers and will actually acquire studios that will organically fold into the existing PlayStation brand. Add to that, Jim Ryan mentioned that they will focus only on increasing their in-house capability with selective mergers and acquisitions that might only be possible. And I'm curious which game studios will actually get acquired by them now that Microsoft is buying companies left and right, and it sure seems like a whole big competition right now. I mean, Microsoft just acquired ZeniMax not too long ago, so your move, Sony, I guess. But hey, perhaps they will think once again about the games, but it sure looks like Sony is ready to buy Crunchyroll. Yes, my friends, the popular anime website, which sponsors quite a lot of YouTube channels, might soon become Sony's property. If the acquisition goes through, this could cost Sony a cold $957 million US. And with that out of the way, there were some reports alleging that their parent company could sell the company for $1.5 billion, and the parent company of Crunchyroll, as far as I know right now, is at&t. And yes, if you're thinking that's a lot of money, just imagine how much anime you could buy for that, or like how many years. That's like I think over 13 million years that you can watch anime. I don't know, I didn't do the math. Now, speaking of acquisitions, AMD has finally acquired XILINX, and I talked about it in a previous MOSHBITS episode that they were planning to buy them, but now it's apparently finally done and settled. AMD has made the acquisition, thus entering the FPGA market. Now, Dr. Lisa Su said about the deal that, and I quote by the way, "Our acquisition of XILINX marks the next leg in our journey to establish AMD as the industry's high-performance computing leader and partner of choice for the largest and most important technology companies in the world." And I'm genuinely curious what AMD will be able to do after this acquisition, because they are on a roll lately. Like, their Q3 earnings has brought a big smile on the faces of shareholders, or I sure hope it did, because the company's revenue continues to grow at a staggering 45% year over year. Now that's insane. I mean, who'd have thought that AMD would make such a big big comeback? Yeah. And if Size Software benchmarks are to be believed, the new AMD RYZEN 5000 CPUs will be a giant money booster for the company. Now, according to the tests performed by Size Software, the 6-core Zen 3 CPU is 15% to 40% faster than Zen 2 CPUs. This one being, well, actually the Zen 2 CPU, this one being the Ryzen 5 3600X. While the 8-core 5800X is 25 to 40% faster than the 3700X. And I'm a bit confused why they compared it to the 3700X. I mean, it would have been nice to see it compared to the 3800X, but alas, it doesn't really matter. Now, Sci Software said about the CPUs, and I quote once again, Zen 3 is 25 to 40% faster than Zen 2 across all kinds of algorithms. No choice but to give it 10 out of 10 overall. And in other AMD news, I think I should be giving EK WATERBLOCKS a 10 out of 10 for being hella sexy with this new design. Now, the company is preparing the RX 6000 series WATERBLOCKS to keep those bad boys that AMD has just announced boosting to their high frequencies. Now, remember that for AAB boards, this might mean that some of them are able to boost to 2.57 gigahertz and use north of 350 watts, which is a lot to be frank in both cases, but this would also make it the perfect time for EK to step in. It would also be nice to step in and say thanks to the developers of CDPR instead of sending them all kinds of nefarious messages, because there's not a way to put it mildly, and don't be stupid about that. Now, the game we were all excited for has been delayed yet again, and by that I mean has actually been delayed until the 10th of December due to unforeseen circumstances, and by that I mean that they're having to test the final game version on 9 different platforms, and as you can think about it right now, due to the human malware, it's not all that great and not easy. Now, Cyberpunk developers are in full crunch mode to get the final version of the game ready, like I was saying, despite already going gold about a week or two ago, and I mentioned that in one of my videos. But like I said, 9 different versions have to be tested across all consoles, both old and new, PC, Stadia. Oh my god, why is Stadia still a thing? Now, this has given them a lot of trouble and has also created the need to push the launch date yet again. So if you're mad at Cyberpunk, or if you were thinking of canceling the game, you're pre-ordering in this case, then I would advise you to not do it, because you also have to think of developers that are now working 100-hour work weeks and basically struggling to get this game done and perfected for all of us. So if you want to help them, then don't cancel your pre-order, and if you didn't get the game, then I guess now it's time to buy it. In other gaming news, no ray tracing in Devil May Cry for the Xbox Series S. I nearly said X, it's so complicated with those. But nevertheless, future consoles, especially the Series S, are starting to look less and less appealing, as well, at least to me in this case, as those new news come out. But then again, the price is also far cheaper than what you could most probably build with your own money for a second-hand PC. However, the game will now support 120 FPS with ray tracing off, but I wasn't able to tell at which resolution, but I would guess that it's either 1080 or 1440p, because 4K looks like it's locked at 60 FPS with ray tracing off. But I guess you could rejoice, because No Man's Sky is getting a visual upgrade, and you might be able to forget about Devil May Cry not having all the fancy ray tracing that you needed. And last but not least, Spotify is ready to increase their prices in order to make up for the financial losses and start paying copyright holders and their corporate overlords even more money. But alas, this has happened right when Spotify has added 6 million subscribers in Q3 to achieve 45% paying customers across 320 million active users, but it didn't actually manage to bring in good numbers in terms of sales and earnings, thus bringing their overall stock value down. And I would like to know, what do you think? Would you think that this would make it somehow the end of your Spotify subscription if the company decides to up the prices yet again? I mean, for me, yeah, maybe I'll still use it. I'm actually not thinking of canceling it, but if you have any other opinions, then just put them down in the comments below. And this is in fact the end of this episode, so don't forget to check me out on Twitter and visit crowd.com, and as usual, links to all the official articles that have been quoted in this video are going to be in the video description. This has been Alex with the Red Elk, signing off. Bye.